want to say thank you to the designers and the design team of this car for not making it look like a blob. I wasn't really planning on making this video, but I got a lot of DMs and a couple of emails asking me to react to the new Cadillac Celestiq. So that's exactly what we're going to do in this video, and I'm looking forward to it. So first of all, let's talk about some of the spec and tech before jumping in and look at some of the development sketches and also the development clay model. And then, of course, comparing it to, I want to compare the production to the concept and show you the differences there and see if you can find 5 differences between the concept and the production. They did a really good job on that. So it has 600 horsepower, 640 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in about 3.8 seconds, 300 miles of range, up to 190 kilowatt DC fast charging. The price is going to land around $300,000 for a Cadillac. It's been a while. And it's also 18 feet long and 7 feet wide, making it bigger than an Escalade. And for this occasion, I'm wearing my E30 t-shirt. I know you won't want to go and get it at thesketchmonkey.com. Now, let's have a look at this beast of a machine, beast of a American luxury car. It's a land yacht, 18 feet long. We have a super long wheelbase as well, as you can see right here. Let's make this green so you can see the lines. These are the sketches. These are some very late sketches, probably some promotional sketches when after the fact that the design has already been set. They want to have some sketches for the marketing, and these come straight from GM, so they are official sketches. And what I like about this design is that it's so clean, and we have a lot of long lines emphasizing the length even more, and it looks like it definitely looks like a concept car and not something that should go into production. And as you know, this will be a very limited number of cars are going to be built, and they're all going to be bespoke, so you can customize every single detail on this car. And the interior, you can do whatever you want with it. I like this new front end of Cadillac. I think this is a proper looking front fascia with a clear identity with this big grille. As I've said before, people think BMW makes big grills, but this is just, I mean, this takes up 90% of the front end, but it looks better than on a BMW, and I think you agree with me on that. And that has to do with all the other geometries on the car and all the other geometries in the front end working together with the grille, so it doesn't feel like the grille is oversized in this case. Now let's look at the clay model, and here you can see just the scale of this thing. Just look at the people standing next to it and just how long this thing is. It's long like a school bus, but it's a lot lower obviously, and looks a whole lot sportier than a school bus, that's for sure. So let's jump into the comparison between the production and the concept. I think Cadillac has done an absolutely fantastic job going from the concept to the right into the production right here on the left. I really can't see any major differences between these two. Let me know if you spot any besides the one I'm going to point out right now. We do have a little bit of change in the bottom part. In this case, we have some mesh, and here we don't have a mesh. I think these are just vents that open and close. So this is one detail that's different. The front end, the grille might have some different finish to it. I think it looks a little more glossy maybe in the production version, but nothing crazy. And then we have some lights above this bar up here. If we zoom in, you can see that we have this daytime running light that I don't think exists on the concept. So that's a pretty interesting detail. Usually stuff like that exists on the concept and then they take it away for the production, but here they went the other way around, and I think that's pretty cool. Other changes, as we know, we need to have some proper side mirrors. These are just standard changes going into production. So you see we have a much bigger side mirror. Unfortunately, regulation right now in the US does not allow for cameras to be replacing the physical mirrors. I think that's going to happen eventually, but we're not there. I think it happened in Europe. I think US just has some time to catch up, and we're going to get there eventually. One detail I want to show you here that is, I would say it's maybe a little nitpicking, but it is a couple of very, very important millimeters. Those millimeters happen right here. So the stance of this car, this is a concept stance. Polestar managed to get this concept type of stance into production with their Polestar 3 recently. However, in this case, this is a little lost in the production version. Look at this stance and how flush the wheel sits with the wheel arch. And in the production, you can see that they moved the wheel in by maybe 2 or 3 millimeters, and it doesn't look as properly stanced as the concept. That's an easy fix if you're buying this car. I mean, if you want, you can just put a spacer on there, and I'm sure it's not gonna mess up with the suspension or anything like that. I'm not sure, this is a very high-tech car, so it might mess up something, but I would rather have this planted net and this stance of the car. I want to have that in the production version as well. Looking at the rear end, so this is the area where I have some doubts. I don't know if I'm not sure if I like this yet, or if I'm just need to see it in real life to appreciate it. But I think the graphics of the rear end look, this hockey stick right here, for example, this hockey stick design, I don't think it flows well with the rest of the design. I think this is a graphic feature that I would probably change, maybe have it inverted or something, or maybe have it follow the upper section of this gorgeous roof line that we have here and create something like that that flows with this. Now it feels like it's clashing with a lot of lines in this area, and I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that just yet. I need to see this in real life, which I'm not sure it's going to happen, but if I ever do, I'm going to give you an update on what I think about this rear end. It is a very unique looking tail. There's no doubt about that. Looking at the differences between the concept and the production, same thing here. I can barely see any differences between. We still have the same kind of texture even in this part. You see all these stripes here? We have the same stripes right here. So they didn't even change the texture of the diffuser for the production, for the concept going to production. I think I've said this before, but I think that's a really cool thing with EVs, that the concept, you don't need to change the proportions to fit the internal combustion engine, the transmission and stuff like that. You can still have very aggressive proportions and stretched out volumes and keep it when you go into production. I think that's from a design standpoint, that's definitely the biggest benefit, in my opinion, for EVs, is that you can play around with the designs a lot more and have it intact going into production. Here you can barely see that there's a difference in stance here because of the angle. It still looks good. They even kept almost the same wheel design as we have in the concept into production. But other than that, I really can't see any other changes in this design from the concept going to production. I'm not a huge fan of this blue. I would not pick this car or spec this car in this blue. I think I would have a more toned down, elegant color. I think charcoal or maybe gunmetal or something like that would be really cool with some splashes of color, but not have it in this blue, Smurf blue, from what it looks like. So my final thoughts on the Cadillac. I think they've done a fantastic job reviving the ultimate luxury brand that Cadillac used to be. The Celestiq is now the Cadillac of EVs. And I want to say thank you to the designers and the design team of this car for not making it look like a blob, a bean on wheels. From the looks of this thing, the proportions and the volumes, the enormous hood could have housed a massive V16 engine. It just looks like it could fit under there, so it doesn't look like these blob EV shapes that we're used to. I think Cadillac has a way to go before returning to its status as America's ultimate luxury brand, but the Celestiq is definitely a step in the right direction. However, if I were to judge these cars on their designs only, I'll still fork out another $100,000 and get the new Rolls-Royce Spectre.